This has to be tilted down. Look at this guy. He's so cute. Hi, I am once again reading Far Too Many Things at Once. My bad. So I'm a little stressed about it and I'm trying to get things finished, but I'm also going to the movies today and possibly seeing 2 things. But reading stuff first. So first and foremost, Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This is, oh man, I am here right now and having a good time with it. I am doing a whole separate vlog on this, which I think ideally will be out before you see this one. So hopefully go look at the last video before this one's posted if you want to see my thoughts on it. I'm not going to talk about it here, but aside from just mentioning that I am currently reading it. But I've got that one going on, and then on my Kindle I've got 2 things. So first one is Immaculate Conception. This is part of a read-along that Audrey over at Perpetual Pages is hosting, and currently I'm 24% of the way through. I'm on chapter 8. Today's section is to read chapter 7 to 12, I'm pretty sure, and I am behind. I've basically spent most of my day editing last week's vlog and kind of getting things organized. I've read a little bit of Bones today. I've read 1 chapter of this one, and I've done some meal prep and some productive things, so that's good, but I also have not been able to read as much as I would have liked to, but either way, that one's being read this week. And then I'm also reading The Memory Librarian by Janelle, and I am 25% of the way through with that one. So got those 3 going, and then also last night, on days where I don't go to the gym, I'm trying to go for a half-hour walk, at least half-hour, preferably more than that. It's also nice to have some audiobook time as well. So last night on my walk, I could have brought my Kindle and read one of those ones, but I didn't, and instead chose to start a 4th book. So because my hold for They Bloom at Night came in, so I picked it up, and I'm now, I think, about 65% of the way through, and it's good. I don't dislike it. I don't know if this author is for me, but like, it's not bad. It's good enough to at least finish. It is definitely creepy. There's some real gross bits happening in here. I think if you like What Moves the Dead, you would really like this one. It has the same kind of disgusting vibes to it sometimes. So I am enjoying it for that. I just don't really care for the characters a whole lot. I like the main character, but everybody else is just kind of there, you know? But the algae stuff is pretty cool. But yeah, 4 books right now. That is far too many things for me to be reading at one time. I really need to finish something. Probably going to be finishing They Bloom at Night today for sure, because I'm about to go out to the bookstore. One of my coworkers was at my favorite used bookstore in town recently and let me know that she found what's it called? Witches Steeped in Gold. They had 2 copies of it there, and so I want to go see if they still have the other copy because she bought one of them. I'm going to go to that bookstore as well as the Value Village. It's also in the same plaza. They also have a pretty solid book selection sometimes, so I'll check out both places and then go to the movies from there. Tonight I'm going to see How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. I'm so excited. I've been hyped about this for so long. That is one of my all-time favorite franchises. I love them so much. Those are my comfort movies. I watch them all the time whenever I'm in a bad mood. They just bring me so much joy, and this live action better be good. If it's bad, I'm gonna riot. So hopefully it's good. And then after that, depending on how much energy I have, I don't really watch movies a whole lot. And when I do, I typically can watch like half of one is ideal. I can sit through a full movie, but like not very often. But I'm considering going to see a second movie tonight because The Materialist is out, and it's a rom-com starring Pedro Pascal, Chris Evans, and Dakota Johnson. Do like Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson. I am obviously going for Pedro Pascal 100%. I need to see that man in a rom-com on the big screen. So that's also playing tonight, and it works out with the timing. How to Train Your Dragon is at 7:20, Materialist is at 10. So I wouldn't be home until at least 12:30. I don't know if I'll do both, but I really want to. There are also 2 other movies that I really want to see in theaters right now. Mission Impossible, the new one, I think it's still in theaters, as well as Ballerina. I had no idea that this movie was coming out, but it's set in the same universe as John Wick, and I fucking love John Wick. Also a favorite franchise of mine, so I would love to see that in theaters as well. But I'm obviously not doing 4 movies in one day. That would be crazy. But I would like to at least do 2 of them today. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to see both tonight, but I might not be able to sit still for that long, so we'll see. But I think it'll depend on how busy it is. If it's real busy, no thank you. I do not want to sit in a busy movie theater. But anyways, I'm gonna run to the bookstore and I will come back with a movie review, or possibly 2 later on, and also hopefully a book haul. it's hot outside. Oh boy. I just got home from the bookstores. My original plan was to go to the bookstores and then just go to the theater straight from there and just bring whatever I got with me. But first of all, too hot, not doing that. Second of all, I got too many books, so so I came home first and we'll just talk about them real quick. Also, sorry if the fan is really loud. I don't have air conditioning and it's too hot to not have that on, so just ignore that. So the first place that I went to was Value Village, and I picked up The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina, maybe. Not sure if I pronounced that properly. It probably didn't, but this book by Zoraida Cordova, I've seen this book around for years and it was $6, so I picked it up. I don't really know what it's about, I'm not gonna lie. I used to know, but I forget. And then probably the best thing that I got today in terms of like beautiful books, this book was also $6. Right, Tony? Look at this. Look at that. This is the Illumicrate version of The Sun and the Void. This is incredibly stunning. Oh my god, this is beautiful. The end pages as well. And it also has this on the front and the side. Oh my god, this is just stunning. And has also been on my TBR for a very long time. So of course, I could not get this book. For $6. $6! Are you kidding me? I'm so pleased. And then I went over across the street to my favorite used bookstore, and actually my friend ended up meeting me there. They were off work at the same time that I was leaving, so I asked them to come along. And I got a few things. So first one is this one, what do you even called? Mortal Prey by John Sanford. I've never heard of this book. I would never have picked up this book or even looked at it. However, there was this very nice old man who was chatting with me in the bookstore. He was at Value Village and he saw me there and then saw me at the next one. He was like, hey, you were just at the other one, so was I. And ended up talking to me for a bit. He saw the giant pile of books in my hands and he was like, do you really read all those? And we ended up chatting for a while. And then he was like, you know what you would love? Random stranger whose taste I have no idea about. He was like, I just saw it somewhere else. Let me go find it. And I just like stood there awkwardly while he went and found this book that he loves. And he was like, I think you would love this one. It's really cool. And I was like, it's $4. I'll get it. Why not? I think it's a mafia thing. He explained the plot that this lady's husband used to be in the mob, and then somebody was trying to kill him, but the bullet went through him and into her and killed her unborn baby. And this book is about her revenge story against him. So honestly, that sounds pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna do a video of reading a book that a random stranger picked out for me at some point whenever I have the time to pick this one up. And for $4, I made this guy's day because he was very happy that I was gonna read it. It was very cute. And then I also found these editions of Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, books 2 and 3 in the Farseer trilogy. I read book 1 for Backless Bash recently and really enjoyed it. These are not the same editions as book 1 that I have, and that's gonna kind of bother me, but I literally never find those editions. And for $5, I wasn't gonna pass up the chance to get these ones. But I do also love these editions, and I kind of wish my first one matches these ones. When I bought book 1, what was that, like 5 years ago, I liked the other edition better, but now I like these ones better because they're like classic fantasy. So maybe at some point I'll get book 1 in the same edition to match, but I'm trying to care less about that. Like, it really doesn't matter if things match perfectly. I just want them to, but I don't need to like waste money just to have things match, you know? So I'm trying to care less about that. But right now I care a little bit. Next up, I picked up She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is a book that is not actually on my TBR, but it's been on my radar for a long time because I've been really curious about it. It wasn't on my TBR because it kind of scares me. I don't know why. It's not even that big. I thought this book was a lot bigger than it actually is, but I've heard that it's pretty intense. So I've been intimidated by it for a long time, but I do read a lot more books that are like a similar level of intensity now, so I think I might actually enjoy this one. And this one was $12, so why not? And then I got real lucky, so my friend got to the bookstore before I did, and when I came in they had this book in their hand, and I was really sad about it because I wanted it, but then they ended up putting it back because they didn't want to spend the money, so I snagged it immediately. Yay! Taste of Iron and Gold by Alexander Rowland. I've had my eye on this book forever. It's gay, it's fantasy. I want everything to do with this. And I'm very mad at myself that I haven't read this yet, but now I own it and I'm very excited about it. And this one was a bit more because it's hardcover. It was $16, but still not bad. Could have been a lot worse. Then I also picked up Black Sun and Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have not read the first book, and yet now I own two of them. I really need to not do that, but I couldn't resist. This one was $13, this one was $12. They're not in the best condition, but I couldn't resist. I was influenced to buy them by my friend who was like, yes, get them, they're great. So I was just like, sure, twist my arm. And then finally, I got The Book Eaters by Sun Yudin. This one was $18, so a little pricey. Actually didn't realize that that was the price until right now. My bad. I know virtually nothing about this book, but it is on my TBR and my friend liked it, so I got it. Yay. Also, I did have store credit there, so I got all of these books for $43. Not that bad. Oh, this is precarious. Oh no. Can I do this? I shouldn't do this. There we go. There's the stack. Anyways, I gotta go make a quick dinner and then get to the theater. I was gonna walk and get my steps in today. However, it's hot as balls and I have walked a lot today already, so I'm probably gonna Uber down there, but I will walk back once the sun goes down and it's not as blazingly hot. Oh my god, I can't deal with this. I'm changing. I can't do a high collar shirt right now. This is nuts. I feel like I'm suffocating. So I'm gonna go do all those things and I will chat later once I'm back from the movies. Tony is on some drugs today. Oh my god. He doesn't do very well in the car. So my vet decided to try giving him a sedative before going to the vet, which did not work, by the way. He still was very upset in the car. And now he's just a little loopy. Oh, poor guy. He's hi. Happy Friday. So excited. Tonight, some people from book club and I were going to Night at the Aquarium, which is a drag show at the aquarium in Toronto. It sounds so fun and I can't wait to go. Leaving pretty shortly, I think, maybe in like an hour and a half or so. So I figured I would come on here and update real quick because I don't think I've updated really anything like all week. So I finished several things since last we spoke. Good Tony. Buddy. Poor guy. So on Tuesday, I finished They Bloom at Night and I gave it 4 stars. This was really good. I was a little iffy on it at first. It did take me quite a while to get into it. I was sucked into the atmosphere immediately, but I think was it the characters that I was a little iffy on? I kind of forget now, but I did end up really enjoying this book. It was creepy and gross, but also really beautiful. It had lots to do with family and loss and grief and your sense of self and all these things. It was a great read and definitely a better one for me than She Is a Haunting by the same author, which I did not enjoy. So I'm happy that this author could be one for me, and maybe that one book was just a one-off. And then last night I finished Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by Schwab. Oh my god. I'm not going to get into thoughts here. Again, there's a whole vlog for it. And then last thing, this morning, I also finished Immaculate Conception. This was the read-along with Perpetual Pages, and this book fucked me up. Oh my god, I could not stop thinking about it. This is not my usual genre. I don't know what it would really be classified as in terms of genre. It's kind of a mixture of things. It's horror, it's thriller, it's sci-fi, it's kind of a mixture of things. I guess it's not really out of my wheelhouse, but it's definitely less fantastical than what I normally read, so I probably wouldn't have picked this up. So thank you to Audrey for getting me to pick this up. I had a great time with this book. I think for probably the first time in my life, I actually like made notes on the book and stuff as I was reading it. It's like, while having a Kindle is new, I've had ebooks forever, but I've really never been one to kind of go in and leave highlights and notes and annotations and stuff, but this time I did, and I actually left quite a few of them, mainly just commenting on how fucked up everything is, especially the main character. This book was so good. The main character is a deeply fucked up person, very toxic and creepy and manipulative, and just and she has no idea that she's any of those things. And it was fascinating reading her, thinking about herself as this poor artist from the fringes, and everyone looks down on her and all these things. And she looked up to all these people around her, and she gradually kind of becomes those people. And you as the reader, you know how fucked up those people are, and you watch her become that. And she has no sense of self-awareness that she has become this deeply flawed human. She's always been deeply flawed, of course. All humans are. She was a little extra flawed than the average person is, but that's besides the point. But throughout the course of the book, this book spans decades of her life. And throughout the years, you just watch her descend into this horrifying monster of a person, and she has no idea. She still sees herself as being this poor, innocent person who just wants to be loved and all these things, when she's actually like probably one of the worst people in this book. Not the worst one. I think that should be reserved for the father-in-law, because oh my god. But regardless, like, she is a terrible person and she doesn't see that, and it was fascinating to read. This book had me locked in. I was trying so hard to not skip ahead, because we had like set days of like, we read, you know, chapter 1 to chapter 7 on the first day and so on and so forth, and I was trying to stick to that and not read ahead. Genuinely really hard to not skip ahead. I was really enjoying this book. I've talked about it with every one of my coworkers, my friends. Like, this was an excellent read. I haven't put it through Cop-Pile yet, but it'll probably get a 5-star, maybe a 4.5, but I think probably a 5. I don't think I've ever thought about a book this much, which sounds bad. I normally think about my book, but this one has had me sitting here like contemplating the sense of self and how you see yourself versus how others see you, and boundaries and consent and grief and loss and all of these things. There were such heavy themes in this book. It was fascinating how these themes were dealt with. This was a deeply thought-provoking book that was horrifying and terrible in a way that I just could not look away from, and I'm so glad that I read it. And now I really want to read Natural Beauty as well. I'll probably do that very soon. I don't think I've made any progress on the Memory Librarian in a few days, just because I've been focused on trying to get these books read. So now that I'm done those ones, that's going to be my main focus. Oh, I've also started a whole new book since then too, because of course I have. So I'm also now, I think, 65% of the way through Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. This is the sequel to Empire of Sand, which I read a couple months ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue what's happening. I didn't like look up a recap of book 1 or anything. Sorry, there's a bird outside my window that is very large and also adorable. I don't know what, it's just sitting there preening itself, and it's really cute. Anyways, if you see me look it up, that's why. Anyways, so yeah, Realm of Ash is, I have no clue what's going on. It literally took me until 20% in to realize that we were not following the same character as book 1. And then, because I was really confused, like the main character was talking about like this person dying and these things happening, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, there's no way that I missed that from the first book or forgot about it. Like, that's like, those were huge things. So I'm like, what do you mean this person that's close to you died? When did that happen? And then I was like, oh, this is not the same character as the first book. So I looked up a quick recap of book 1 just to kind of get my bearings again, and then continue with book 2, and I'm still so confused. So I was like, you know what, I'm sure at some point things will kind of click and I'll figure out what's happening. And now I'm 65% of the way through, and it has not. But at this point, I'm far enough in that I'm going to continue it and I'm going to finish it, and I'm just kind of waiting to understand what's happening, and it's not happening. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what the motivations are. I don't know who to root for. No clue. I'm so lost, and I don't know why I'm lost. But this feels like a completely different book. Like, this does not feel like a sequel to me, and I feel like I'm just missing a very large piece of the puzzle. This feels like it should have been book 3. Is it? It's not book 3, right? I have to go check that now. 1 second. No, it is book 2. I was right. But like, this does not feel like a sequel. This feels like there should have been a whole book in the middle, and I have no idea how we've gotten to where we are, and I have no clue where we're going or why we're going there. Like, nothing makes sense, and I'm so confused. I do like the characters though. I like the main character, who is the sister of the main character from the first book, and I like who I'm assuming to be her love interest. It's a good character. I like their chemistry, so I'm in it for that. But in terms of the plot, don't know. I couldn't tell you what's going on. That's that on that. Also, How to Train Your Dragon. I went to see that on Tuesday. Oh, it was so good. Oh man, I loved it so much. This was a perfect remake for me. They stuck very closely to the original. They did remove some scenes that I love, so I was kind of sad about that. But the plot was the same. The characters were perfect. The casting was great. I loved the acting, but especially the visuals. Oh my god, this movie was beautiful. It was absolutely stunning. They made Burke feel like a world that I could live in, and I want to live in it. So badly. It was just stunning, and the theater was packed as well, and everybody seemed to be having a great time. It was such a great movie. It was so cool seeing it come to life like that. The original, of course, always going to be better. This is a great remake, and it's definitely worth a watch. But anyways, I have to go and get ready for the event tonight. I also need to give Tony a bath because this was a rough trip. Oh my god, my creature is really something. He poops in the car every single time that we go to the vet, and he gets a monthly injection for arthritis, so we have to go to the vet every single month, and we'll need to do that for the rest of his life. So my vet suggested trying to give him a sedative, just like a mild sedative, before each visit. That way he might calm down and not poop in the car, and that did not work. He's clearly very drugged. He's still just like, look at him, he's completely zonked, like he's out like a light. So the sedative definitely worked. However, oh my god, this guy pooped in the car before we were even out of the driveway, and then also threw up in his crate in the car. So we had a bad drive down. My roommate does not do well with smells and things, so she starts gagging, and then I can't handle the sound of people gagging, so I start gagging, and then because I'm gagging, she starts actually throwing up while driving. She had to stick her head out of the car window and drove while throwing up. And she's doing that, and I'm like fighting for my life, trying not to. And the whole time, Tony is screaming, just yowling and sitting in it, right? Obviously, there's nowhere else for him to go. Get to the vet. I tell them what happened. I have to clean it up. It's fine. I don't mind doing that. He's my cat. I'm not going to make them do that. It was gross. And then Tony poops on their floor as well, which I also have to clean up. When we came home, I obviously like cleaned him up and like gave him like a sponge bath and brushed him and tried to clean him up. But he's sitting next to me right now and he still stinks, and he's on my bed. So I'm thinking he needs a proper bath before I leave tonight, and my blanket needs to be removed from my bed and will not be used tonight. So that's gonna be my next little while until my friends get here. Wish me luck trying to bathe Tony. I don't think it's going to go well, but I'm gonna do my best. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Sorry for the gross story. Note to editing me to put up a warning about gross conversations before posting this. Because, ew, sorry about that. It's Monday, so time to wrap up this week's vlog. Once again, I apologize for the fan. We're still in the middle of a heat wave. The heat has only gotten worse since last we spoke. It's currently 40 degrees Celsius and like 80-ish% humidity. It's hot as fuck. And if I don't have this fan on me, I will die. So, sorry if the sound sucks, but it is what it is. So, since the last update, what did I talk about? Well, first of all, the Pride event at the aquarium was so much fun. Oh, I had a blast. Most of the drag queens that were performing were people who were on Canada's Drag Race throughout various seasons, and they were a hoot. There was one who was dressed as a handsome Squidward as a drag queen. It was hysterical, and she was so good. That was Boa, who was on, I think this had season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. It was so good, and the whole event was just fantastic. It was just like the regular aquarium, which is always a top tier event to go to, but they also had like rainbow stuff all over the place, and they had little plaques with the history of Pride all over the place. It was so lovely to see. And yeah, it was just a super fun event. I had a great time. I got home so late. I think I got home at like 2:30 in the morning and then had to be up at 7:30 for work. So the next day was not the best in terms of my productivity, but that's all right. It was well worth the super fun time. And in terms of reading, I think the only thing that I finished since the last time we spoke was Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. Sadly, I gave this one a 2-star. I did not at any point figure out what was going on, and maybe it's a me issue, so I feel kind of bad giving it a low rating, but at the same time, if I read a 500-page book and at no point during that time could I figure out what was happening when I was actively trying to figure it out. I was paying attention, I was trying to be engaged, and just nothing made sense. While that is a me problem, it is also at the same time not a me problem. But the rating is still fair, I think. I just always feel bad giving anything less than 3 stars, but it is what it is. I did like the characters. The main character and the love interest were both great. The writing was pretty. It's just the entire plot was a huge miss for me personally, unfortunately, but we move on. And then I am also on my Kindle. I'm still reading The Memory Librarian by Janelle, and currently I am 45% of the way through. This is a surprisingly slow read. I thought that I would be more invested in it, and I'm not invested, but I'm not as engaged as I thought I was going to be, but I'm still having a good time. Right now I'm thinking it'll probably be like a 4-star. There's the reading updates. I think that's all that I have going on. Oh, I also started Beetle and the Hollowbones, which is for Backlist Bash, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but just for the sake of mentioning that I am reading that one current. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's vlog, so thank you for watching. Sorry for the shitty sound quality due to the fan, but thanks for watching anyways. If you made it this far, let me know what you read this week, or if you've read any of the books that I read, and I'll see you in the next one.